Hello, everybody, and welcome to Latvia and the Zelterzerg circuit here at Kegums for our sixth, can you believe it, our sixth MXGP TV studio show of the season. We're a third of the way through the year already. My name's Paul's Malins, as we're in Latvia this weekend. Lisa's Leylands. We've got Sever's Brylyakovs on the end there as well. And, of course, joining us a little bit later on, we've got Glenn's Coldenhoffs and Marnik Bervoets, because he's already got an S on his name. But Lisa, welcome to Latvia. It's a little bit chillier than we've been experiencing the last couple of weeks, but I see you wearing a T-shirt.
I am wearing a T-shirt, yeah, but it's good to be back in Europe. It's nice, and actually, I don't believe it. You said it's the third way through the season already.
I know.
Round 6, it's gone pretty fast, but no, it's good to be here.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, look, our first guest is here, Sever Brylyakov. But before we catch up with the Monster Energy DRT Kawasaki rider, let's see what happened 2 weeks ago. Here's some action from Race 1 in Leon. This kid was giving it the full Mexican beans as well.
When the gate dropped for MX2 Race 1, it was Max Anstey, number 99 on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, who grabbed the foxhole shot. Behind him, Paul Jonas easing past Jeremy Siwa, and so too did Jeffrey Hurlings. They were the top three. Siwa in fourth, Bernardini in fifth, Brylyakov in around about sixth place. And there was some close aerial combat between the guys at the head of the field. Anstey made this mistake though. He led briefly, ran wide, got pushed back to second as Jonas went through, and then from out of nowhere, Bernardini was on the charge as well, picking off riders at will on that blue TM. Anstey was in the thick of it, battling with Jonas. So too was Jeremy Siwa on the Suzuki. Jeffrey Hurlings found his way past Anstey, pushed him back into third position. And behind them, Jeremy Siwa in a real battle, but Hurlings found his way into the lead on lap 4, passing his teammate, who then fell shortly after. He fell from second, did Paul Jonas, picked himself up in 8th, made that pass on Bernardini immediately to go 7th, and methodically worked his way back towards the front of the field on the number 41 Red Bull KTM. Tonkov felt the elbows of Bernardini as he was pushed back to 10th, but then he would also charge through, eventually coming home in 5th place. Benoit Paturel was also mixing it with Petar Petrov, and there was a real battle going on between Petrov, Paturel and Tonkov. Tonkov was also lucky to escape this little mistake, but he did eventually get home in 5th place behind Paul Jonas. Benoit Paturel forwarded past Samuele Bernardini, but then made a mistake. Bernardini managed to hang on to 7th. Benoit Paturel had to settle for 8th. Anstey, though, was running in 2nd until this happened. His Rockstar Energy Husqvarna expired on him in the closing stages of the race. 22 points went begging. Meanwhile, while that was happening, the battle behind him involving the 91 of Siwa and Sever Brylyakov. Eventually, Brylyakov made the pass here and eventually would come home in 2nd position, his best ever finish in an MX2 race. But Jeffrey Hurlings, though, was invincible once again, and he would eventually cross the line by more than 34 seconds. Brylyakov 2nd, Siwa 3rd, Jonas Tonkov, your top 5.
Well, that was Leon 2 weeks ago, and one of the guys there we just featured, Sever Brylyakov, Monster Energy DRT Kawasaki, joins us now. And Sever, welcome to our studio show here in Latvia. If I'd have said to you, okay, at the start of the season, you're 7th in points after 5 rounds, if I'd have asked you that at the beginning of the season, what would you have said?
I said, I did a good work.
Yeah.
So it was a goal, because the main goal was to start the season like this, already with being in top 5 and hitting the podiums as much as possible. But yeah, as soon as I was back from USA, I had not enough time on the bike, so actually coming to first round in Qatar, had not much seat time on a race bike. So it was a bit just learning, and also learning how the team goes, and trying to make a good contact with everybody in the team, with Tommy and our mechanics. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy that he's going so well now and smooth.
Okay. Well, you've been in the top 10 in the championship now since Thailand. The first round you just mentioned, there was no points in the first race, I think, but I think laying 13th after the opening round. But you've gone 10, 9, you're now 7. But coming into this race last week, obviously, 2 weeks ago, this is the best race result of the year, second place finish, and also, you know, it was a great battle to watch between you and Jeremy Seewer. Tell us about the race from Leon.
Oh, I just enjoyed everything. Every lap I did there, every corner. I was just thinking, the track was really nice. It was really technical, and all the rods was like nice, yeah, sketchy, and that's what make you think a little bit more about lines. But so I really enjoyed the race.
But you obviously tailed Jeremy Seewer here for quite a lot of the race, and you got to within striking distance. In third, you're already having your best finish anyway, because fourth in Sweden last year.
Yeah.
So what was going through your mind at this point?
Well, I was just, because I had the kind of same situation in qualifying race on Saturday there. So, yeah, I was just learning a little bit more there. As soon as we started first moto there, so I got the same situation, so I just knew what I have to do. So I just follow him almost till the last minutes. And yeah, I did the move waiting for a mistake or something, and just did the move the last laps.
Cool.
And what was your thoughts after the race, knowing that you still had another race to go?
I was so nervous. I mean, it was second place. I haven't even thought in the morning that it's gonna happen like this. So as soon as I finished, it was like, yeah, the dream came true, and then all the feelings about this and people coming to congrat, and then you know also the second moto is coming, and you know also that you have to do the same because you want this podium and you want to be safe and make the same because it's possible, and then you get so much nervous. I mean, coming to the second moto, I think my hands were shaking so much.
But the second
good nervous.
Yeah, good nervous. But the second race didn't quite go to plan, did it? All kinds of problems, but eventually it came good for you.
Yeah, as I told also, like in interviews after the race, like this thing what happened in the second moto, that crash, it was like kind of nightmare in 1.5 hours before. And it's happened, and as soon as I crashed and picked up the bike, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
And then just was just trying to do best I can and finish smart. Yeah.
Good feeling standing on the podium.
Yeah. I actually, when I finished, it was so much people around, and then doing this and that, and you have to put a goggles in and a cap and change the shirt, wash the boots, and I didn't understand. Even like you getting in the podium, I still was like, what's going on? And then just came down, did the last interview. And only after this moment I realized I got top 3. I got the podium.
You were in shock, weren't you?
And then I started crying.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's amazing.
Who was the first phone call?
Yeah, of course, parents.
Yeah.
That was also like, they sending me the video. They was filming from the TV the podium, and I was screaming there back home. And that was nice. That was really nice. My dad and mom was also crying. And it's actually those achievements also.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we have some social media questions for you. Yorkshire78 on Instagram. What's the best way to get over kickers on jumps? Grrr.
Yeah, he says like grrr. He's obviously frustrated that he can't do it.
Yeah. No, I mean, the tracks in the GPs are quite sketchy always, and most of the jumps we have kickers. So we just, in our bikes, we hitting it flat out. Just flat out, and as much hanging back as much as you can, and just...
No holding back. Okay, James Lee Baker on Instagram. What interested you first in bikes?
I was 3 and probably 3.5 years old as soon as I started riding. So
is bikes in the family?
No, nobody rode the bikes. So I think it was just kind of, I don't know, a good thing that I start riding. And I don't know really how to say, because I don't remember these moments the first time on bikes, everything. I just don't know.
But you got photos, though, of you when you were 3 on bike.
Yeah, I mean, I have some new one with the parents as soon as I start riding, but I was like so small kid. I can't ride a bicycle when I start riding a bike.
Same as me.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Same as me, 3.5.
In nappies. I've got a picture of you in a nappy.
Okay. Next question.
Okay, Charles MX Awesome, Facebook. You are pretty young and very impressive, he says. What do you expect from this year and for next year? With these types of results, could you possibly be a title contender next year?
Of course. I mean, all the guys want to win, and me too. And now it's just going really well for me. Just going step by step and trying to get a podium, trying to get good results. Because, yeah, it's difficult sport. I mean, we're risking all the time and we got so many injuries. So the most important thing is just to be safe and just keep going. I got a good way and good team behind, so it's going pretty well for me now. So I'm just, looking forward. Of course, I want to be a world champion.
Good job. I hope that answers all your questions, guys. But that's all we've got time for as far as Seba's concerned. But if he just stays there one moment, before we meet Glenn Coldenhoff, let's see what happened in MXGP 2 weeks ago. Here's some highlights from Leon in race 1.
Into MXGP race 1, just 3 points separated, Roman Febvre and Tim Geiser, and it was Geiser who charged down the start straight, but it was Max Nagel who grabbed the foxhole shot on his Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. Behind him, Evgeny Bobryshev and Tim Geiser there in 3rd place. Bobryshev made his way into the lead early on, and Geiser found his way into 2nd with that pass on Nagel through the wave section over the Dragon's Back. Nagel was then in 3rd, and he had the 461, the championship leader, to contend with in Roman Febvre, as everybody else jostled for position. Geiser made that pass on Bobryshev to take over the lead, and at the same time, almost simultaneously, Febvre made that pass on Nagel to get himself into 3rd. He then went after the Russian 777 for Team HRC, Evgeny Bobryshev, while Nagel circulated comfortably in 4th. Antonio Cairoli, meanwhile, was having a fight through traffic. He made a pass on Tommy Searle and then went after Sean Simpson, got himself into 7th place, as De Sal, number 25 on the Kawasaki, was comfortable as well in 5th place. After 4 laps, Roman Febvre found himself on the rear wheel of the 777 of Evgeny Bobryshev and made the pass stick right before the finish line, got himself into 2nd, and at that point he had about an 8-second deficit to make up to race leader and title challenger Tim Geiser, as Cairoli found his way past Valentin Guillot to move into 6th place. Sean Simpson wasn't so fortunate, eventually coming home in 8th. But it was a titanic battle with a handful, more than a handful of riders, involving Coldenhoff and Van Hoorbeek, Guillot, Tommy Searle. In the closing stages, though, after dragging his left side of the bike too deep into a rut and wrenching off the radiator shroud, Tim Geiser was making too many mistakes, and that allowed Febvre to close in and make that pass. Strybos eventually climbed his way up into 7th on that yellow Suzuki. Sean Simpson also followed suit as well. Nagel, with 2 laps to go, found his way past the 777 of Bobryshev to get himself into 3rd. Tim Geiser couldn't do anything about that damaged bike and would have to settle for 2nd as Roman Febvre disappeared into the distance and took victory in race 1 from Geiser, Nagel, Bobryshev and De Sal.
Well, that was Leon a couple of weeks ago. And, of course, one of those riders that was featuring heavily there, Glenn Coldenhoff, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, of course, now his 2nd year in MXGP. Glenn, welcome to our studio show here on MXGP TV. With 5 rounds completed, last year you were 11th in the championship on 94 points. Now you're 9th on 104. Are you happy with that, or not really?
Actually, not really.
Yeah.
Season started off pretty difficult for me, and struggled with some arm pump in the beginning. But later on it went better and better, and we find every time better setup for the bike. And yeah, it looks like I'm getting back in shape where I should be. And yeah, it's like the GP of Argentina was already a good step in the right direction. And yeah, Mexico, it didn't went that well, so yeah, I'm looking forward to bounce back here.
Yeah, one of the problems you have been injuries. Like you said, it didn't start off that great for you. After the crash in Thailand, how beat up were you after that?
Yeah, actually more than I expected, you know. I had a really tough time, and it was really difficult for me. I had this huge start crash. I went over the bars and got the bike straight up to me, and actually in the first moto I got also a really big crash, and yeah, the week afterwards, oh yeah, that looks terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, the week afterwards, really some small injuries, but struggled pretty long with all those things, and yeah, even in Valkenswaard I only rode 2 times before my home GP, so which was far from perfect. So, but anyway, still some solid results there, and yeah, in the end it was all good.
Well, it's your second season in MXGP. Obviously, you're on a new team now at Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. Coming in as a new kid there and watching it from afar for many years, is it everything you expected it to be now that you're in there?
Yeah, for sure. Team is amazing. I mean, I'm really happy with how the team is working together, and you know, also like the Italians. I like the pasta, so all is fine there.
Yeah.
Patagonia was your best result, 6th overall. Would you say you were 100% fit by then?
I don't think so. I mean, I was fit enough to do well, but you know, a rib injury, it takes just really long. Still now, sometimes I still have some pain, but yeah, it's getting better every week.
Good.
This is a great battle here between you and Clement in the early stages of race 1. You made a great start as well for once.
Yeah.
Because you've not been making great starts, have you, this year either?
Actually, not really bad, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, obviously this footage here that we're watching now from Patagonia with you and Desal, I think you passed him, he passed you back. And then, but how was it running up front? You know, you obviously have the speed, but was the rib the problem there a little bit? Or maybe just a little bit nervous because you were up the front again?
No, not at all. I mean, that was a really high pace we rode there, and it was really difficult. The track was also really fast, and you have to hold your bike pretty well. So also this first moto, after I think 6 laps, I got some pretty bad arm pumps. So, but it's good for the confidence to know that you can run up with those guys, and you know, I felt well there, and yeah, it was finally one solid result for me that weekend.
How far away do you think you are now from a podium finish?
It can be pretty close.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the class is really strong out there, and you know, it's just difficult. You have to really fight hard to get up there, and yeah, it's difficult. But you never know. If you said last year that I've won this GP here, you probably start laughing about it, and yeah, so that's what I'm saying. You never know.
Well, we're definitely not laughing about it. And as you just mentioned, last year you took your first race win in MXGP and your first overall Grand Prix victory in the big class as well. What can we expect from you this weekend? And do you still remember this race? Do you still think about it and think, yeah, man, I need to be back there?
Yeah, for sure. You know, yeah, last year it suited me really well. This year it's actually pretty hard. This morning was really hard. The top base of the dirt is soft, but underneath is really hard this year. So it's a little bit different than last year. They changed a few things, and yeah, it's still one of my favorite places. So yeah, I'm looking forward.
Good,
Okay.
good.
Now, questions on social for you from Marky Visha on Instagram. What do you like or enjoy the most, MXGP or MX2?
Actually, both is fun. I mean,
Come on.
no, in MX2 class, when I rode there, it's like just wild dogs go out of the gate and you know, fight till the end. But actually, this has also been in the MXGP class now lately. Yeah. So actually, for me, there's not a big difference. But it's always good to ride in the highest class out there and to fight with the world top guys.
Do you think? Yeah, come on.
MXGP then.
Yes, MXGP.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think when you just mentioned then about MX2, the riders just going out like dogs? Do you think now it's like that in MXGP because all the guys have come up from MX2? So like Tim, like Roman, everybody else, yourself included.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, as I said, also it's really difficult to get on the podium in this class, and everyone is fighting really hard. And yeah, I feel like it's just wild dogs as well in the MXGP class this year. So,
all right. Well, look, we are out of time with Glenn Coldenhoff, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. So, Glenn, thanks for joining us. And before we meet Marnik Bervoets, the team manager from Khmer Yamaha official racing team. Quick look about our competition and what's coming up a little later on in the year. It's great competition as well, by the way. So this week, you have a chance to win with OGO. Tony Cairoli and OGO have joined forces to form a TC222 collection. So to win an OGO TC222 Bandit backpack, answer this simple question. What year did Tony Cairoli first take part in the FIM Motocross World Championship? Nice and easy for you. Obviously answer on our Facebook page. But a little later on in the year, another quick reminder about the Super Motocross Riders and Manufacturers Cup takes place at the Veltins Arena in Germany on October the 8th. Tickets are now on sale and have been for a while at our Easter special discounted rates. So go to mxgp.com, look on the calendar on the homepage, and right at the bottom of the events there, you'll see the event itself. So just click the tickets, and don't forget to like and follow us on all of our social media platforms as well. So, third and final guest has now joined us, and this Marnik Bervoets, Khmer Yamaha official MX team manager, former racer as well. And great to see you here once more. Busy weekend for you in Latvia with you guys in MX2 and Valentin and European Championship riders as well with Maxim. Got anybody in 125?
Paul, you know, Terry, in the winter you're thinking it will be okay, but now I'm realistic and it's too much. If you want to do it really, really professional, it's too many riders. But okay, Valentin came in the end of December to the team because we had some problems with Yamaha, and Yamaha said, please can you give a seat for Valentin? Why not? Because actually he's a really good rider, and MXGP, it was a challenge, you know, for the team.
Yeah.
But now it's really difficult with 4 riders.
Yeah. Before we talk about the MX2 and MXGP riders, let's talk about the guy that raced in 125 last year, your FIM Junior World Champion, Maxime Renault. He's now riding EMX 250. He's improved quite a lot, hasn't he? Particularly last year, he came to the attention of everybody, and many people think that he could be a real star of the future. Do you share that view?
Yeah, for sure. If you see last year already on the 125, because he's quite big and a heavy guy on a bike, and he did some really good things, and the competition is in him, you know. The spirit is there. That's really important, and he has a talent, of course. And if you see a really good rider who goes to European Championship, you know, on a 250, he is directly there, you know. Okay, Valkenswaard was not a really good race for him, but if you see him on training and for the future, for sure, he's one of the guys.
But he was showing good speed there anyway.
Sure, that's what I mean, because European Championship is also quite heavy, you know. There are some good riders in it, and but he's there, he's a talent rider, and I'm really happy that he's with us.
What about Brent Van Donnick? It's been a very tough year for him, hasn't it? Just fill us in on some of the problems that he's had, you know, at the beginning of the season and also recently. Yeah,
he had his knee. He had a problem on his knee, and he had an operation in I think beginning of November. And then he got an infection on that knee also. So he started riding beginning of January, training. So he's really good rider, and he's really talented, and he's really fast in shape.
Yeah.
You know, some riders need a lot of time to do the competition and be in front. But he managed to do it really quickly. So he did really good races in the beginning of the season, and we were really happy. But then, unfortunately, in the Belgian race, he dislocated his hip, and he was out again. But he's only 1 month out, and he's there again.
But when he's healthy, he's shown he's more than got the speed, as we saw from his podium last year at the MXGP of the Netherlands at Assen. I guess someone like that, and the way you look at him, he's got to be approaching those podiums again towards the end of the year.
Yeah, for sure. He's one of the guys who will be front in the future. But you know, motocross is a really difficult sport, and everything has to be in balance, you know. No injuries. The whole year you have to be in shape. Yep. And this is the thing we have to find a solution and to work on.
And how's Brent feeling after practice today?
Oh, it's different because he only was riding 2 times on a bike, and you see here the adrenaline is there. He was more tired than Wednesday on training in Lommel, but that's normal, you know. The competition, the stress is there, and So, but we don't push him, and we say we will see what's happening. I think this is a good training.
Yeah.
3 starts, you have to get into it, and maybe in 2-3 Grand Prix you will be in front again. But you have to be smart and don't crash again.
Yeah, I guess a lot of people actually, while we're talking about Brent, surprised at how quick he's come back because he dislocated his hip.
Yes.
Yeah, but fully or?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, it's amazing. Also with his knee, because he had an operation in the beginning of November. Normally it's 4, 5, 6 months. And in 2 months and a half, he could. The doctor says go. It's unbelievable.
But things are a little bit better for Benoit Paturel. All but 2 races, he's finished inside the top 7, and he's already had a podium, 2nd overall.
Yes.
In Thailand.
Yes, I think he's doing well. I need a little bit. It's maybe 5% of his value. He has to come out somewhere. He's riding really good speed. Too nice sometimes. He needs to be more aggressive in some races, because also in Mexico he was 7, 8, and 5 seconds faster. He's 5, you know.
Yeah.
So there the competition has to be harder for him, more character, more aggressive, and believe in himself.
Yeah.
What are Benoit and Brent like to work with? Because they both seem like really nice guys.
Yeah, it's
round
true.
paddock and
it's
really
true,
nice.
and sometimes it's difficult. You have 2 riders in a team if they have to work together. And you know, Jacques Vimont is our trainer, so he is working with those guys, and he's really happy with them. And 2 youngsters with a lot of potential for the future.
Yeah. And again, thinking about where we are in Kegums, and Benoit and that kind of thing, he likes the sand, doesn't he? For a French kid, he actually doesn't mind riding in the sand. So maybe we can see him on a podium again this weekend.
I think it's a little bit difficult, but you never know. You know, it's racing. But last year he didn't do so good here, and it's a special track. I raced here before also. It's a little bit sandy, but it's hard on the knee, and it's really slippery in some places.
Yeah.
So you need a lot of confidence in it. But like Benoit also, he came to Belgium last year in the winter, living there and training always in the sand. And for a French rider, he has to be in Belgium, I think, for his future, that he is an all-round racer.
Finally, what about Valentin Guillot? Having a tough time in MXGP at the moment. What do you put that down to? He's currently 11th in the championship.
You know, in the beginning, I was also a little bit disappointed in that way that he was 12, 13, 14, but the gap was too big with the top 10 riders. But now, the last races, he showed that he is there again. And we changed the setup of the bike also. But you have to understand also, Paul, that MXGP is a big class for youngsters. Like Geiser is one of them who can make that step immediately. Yeah. But for Valentin, it takes some more time, I think. But I think in the next races, he will be top 10 rider for sure.
Well, he was 12th here last year in MX2. Should we be nervous for him again this weekend, or are you expecting more? Because I know last year his weakness was riding sand, wasn't it, Valentin?
Yes.
And it's almost as if he continued to train, and I'm not judging him at all, you know, but it seemed like he spent a lot of time in the south of France training on hardpack when you're so high in a championship. You have Assen coming, we knew was going to be deep sand. Lommel was coming up, we knew was going to be deep sand. Even here, a little bit sandy specialist surface. And you need to be riding in the sand on a more regular basis. Is that something that he's doing?
Yes, because also before Valkenswaard, he came 3 weeks to Belgium for training. Also for Lommel, he will come to Belgium. Our workshop is there, so it's easy to come over. But you have to understand also, it's his sand. He's riding really good in the sand, but you know, in the MXGP you have 10 riders who winning a Grand Prix before. You know, the level is so high, so we have to be careful and give him some time. He's only 23, 24, so give him a little bit of time, and he will be there in the future. All
right. Well, we are almost out of time now, about a minute to go. But talking about MXGP, are you surprised at what Tim is doing, Tim Geiser?
Well, actually, in my mind, you know, if you see Geiser and Favre on a 250 MX2 rider, so aggressive, you're thinking if he's coming on an MXGP bike, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
And if you see Valentin Guillot riding on an MX2 bike, you're thinking he's going to be the rider for the MXGP.
Yeah.
So, and you see now it's completely different.
Yeah.
So, you never know with those guys. I think they are future champions, I think, and they have something special, and they have that competition in them, and they're training really hard, and they're really professional. So they are really good.
All right. Well, mine at Bervoets, Kamir Yamaha, thank you for joining us here as our final guest at Latvia. Well, all the racing kicks off today. A little bit later on this afternoon, we've got 300s, 125 European, 250 European, of course, MX2 and MXGP qualifying races as well. So from Lisa and myself, and thanks to all our guests today, Marnik and Glenn, and of course, Brylyakov. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you again soon in about a week's time in Germany. We'll see you then.